As a character who had very little source material to pull from, Sheik's moveset was largely made up to fill in the gaps for Super Smash Bros. Melee. Now, almost 25 years later, this character still embodies the ninja-like playset that Sakurai and the team at HAL Laboratory originally cooked up. This got me wondering, though, whether a real-world martial artist could replicate what Sheik does in Smash. So today, I'll be going through each and every move in Sheik's kit to determine which ones I could do in real life.
It can come for Sand. It can come even easier for Zerschel if he gets the right opening, but just like that, it wasn't.
Let's start off with a few basic rules. If a move has realistic elements, which I can do, as well as physically impossible elements, it's gonna go in the not quite category. I have to be able to perform the attack on any and all of the fighters in Smash Bros., not just go through the motions. This is especially important for throws. If Sheik uses any weapons or equipment for an attack, I have access to that equipment as long as it exists in real life. If the item does not really exist, then I can use the closest real-world equivalent. My rankings are based on which moves I can personally do, but I will also mention if I believe someone more skilled or stronger than me could do it if I can't. And one more thing. I will be referring to Sheik using she/her pronouns. I know Sheik uses he/him pronouns in Ocarina of Time, but the Smash series consistently refers to her as female, so that's what I'll do as well. With all that out of the way, let's get into the video. For her first jab, Sheik does a simple knife hand strike, rotating her body into the strike to increase its power. I could definitely do this one, so it's going in the I got this tier. Her second jab is an outward knife hand strike. Again, this is quite possible. For her rapid jab, she does a flurry of knife hand strikes, which I would be able to do. Except, according to her frame data, she attacks once every 2 frames, or 15 times per second. This would be way too fast for me, but it's possible that someone else more skilled could do it. So I'll put this in not quite. And for her final hit of rapid jab, Sheik does a lunging palm strike. This one is very doable. Moving on to forward tilt, this is a high wheel kick with full rotation. In the animation, you can actually see Sheik pivot on the ball of her foot, which is a nice touch. I actually can kick this high over my head, so this is going in I got this. Up tilt is a bit of a more complicated move. Sheik drops her hand on the ground, kicks upward, and swings her leg down in an axe kick motion. I didn't think this would be possible, but after trying it, it seemed doable enough after a little stretching. This one's going in I got this. Down tilt is a crouching sweep kick. Sheik fully supports herself with her leg and elbow on the ground for the entire move, and I think I would be able to do this fairly easily. For her dash attack, Sheik does a double knife hand strike while running. I should be able to do this with no problem. For her forward smash, this is a roundhouse kick followed by a jumping back kick, which looks pretty complicated, but it's actually surprisingly easy. I think I would be able to do it. For her up smash, an iconic kill move, Sheik points her hands up in the air and brings them down into a crouching double knife hand. This is a fairly simple move, and honestly, it has an appropriate amount of power. I think I could do this one. Down smash. This is just breakdancing. This is breakdancing. I am many things, but a breakdancer is not one of them. I mean, I couldn't even name this move, and the kip up at the end makes it all the more challenging. This is not going to happen for me without loads of practice, but I'm sure there are people in this world who can make it work. Her neutral air is just a jumping side kick with some extra flair. Throughout the series, it's been one of her most reliable moves, and it's something I do all the time as a martial artist. I could do this no problem. Her forward air, an even more reliable move, is a jumping forward chop. It has a very dramatic animation, but it would be pretty easy to do. Her back air is a jumping back kick, and of all the back kick aerials in Smash, Sheik's is definitely the most defined in my opinion because of her acrobatic nature. Also, this is very high for a jump kick, but I'm a flexible guy, so it wouldn't be too difficult. Wow, this tier list is looking a lot better than I thought it would. I sure hope none of these next moves are too crazy. Oh. Her up air is some kind of flying corkscrew kick. Yeah, it hit the ground before I even got the first kick out. So this is the first move that's gonna go in the I'd get hurt tier. Her down air is a stall and fall downward kick. The animation is quite doable, but Sheik also gains horizontal and downward momentum out of nowhere. Let's go back to our rules. This move has realistic elements, which I can do, but it also has some physically impossible elements. Therefore, I'm gonna put it in the not quite tier. Now it's time for Sheik's grab game. For this part, it's very important to remember rule number 2. I have to be able to do these attacks on any character in the roster, so if the move requires swinging the target through the air, I'll probably have a lot of trouble with it. If I can do it on some characters but not others, it's gonna go in not quite. But if I can do the move on all characters, then it'll go in I got this. For her grab, Sheik reaches out with the front hand, very dramatically for no apparent reason. And if we slow this move down, she doesn't seem to be reaching out as far as she could, oddly enough. For the first time in this video, I think I could do this move better than Sheik does, so it's gonna get its own category. Sheik's pummel is a quick knee strike, a very quick knee strike, 4 times per second in fact. There's no way I'm getting it this fast, so not quite. For her forward throw, the hitbox visualization does not really show what's going on here, but according to the Smash Wiki, this is called a Taishan cow, a technique from the traditional martial art Bajikwan. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Basically, she leans into the opponent with her shoulder quickly after releasing them, which I should be able to do with no issue. Unfortunately, I can't say the same for her back throw. She pushes the opponent behind her and back kicks them. This is going to be a tough one because I could easily do it with lighter characters, but I wouldn't have the leverage to move most of the heavyweights into position before kicking them. I'm going to say this one's a no-go. For her up throw, Sheik tosses the opponent up in the air and does a handstand kick. Not only are there characters in the cast I wouldn't be able to throw, but there are also characters I would be able to throw who would then land on me as I tried to do a handstand, so I could easily see myself getting hurt trying this. For her down throw, she pins the opponent to the ground, jumps up, and axe kicks them on the way down. This is mostly doable, but unfortunately, Sheik does a completely unnecessary flip, which I am not able to do. So close, and yet so far. Now it's time for everyone's favorite segment, Get Up Attacks. Look, I know these aren't the flashiest or most commonly used moves, but they are still pretty interesting to examine because many of them have very unique animations. For her front floor attack, Sheik pushes up off the ground and swings her leg up behind her, then in front of her. This would be a pretty awkward kick to try, but it would be possible for me. For her back floor attack, she does a knife hand strike in front, followed by a palm strike while getting up. This is much easier than the previous attack, so definitely possible. For her get up attack after being tripped, she does a spinning roundhouse kick while pushing up off the ground. I got this one. Whoever said Sheik has no power is lying, because her ledge attack is a true feat of upper body strength. She vaults herself over the ledge with just one hand and does a spinning drop kick. This is not going to happen for me. Before we get into the special moves, I just want to point out that almost all of these are visually unclear in some way or other. So if you disagree with any of my placements, let me know in the comments. Starting off with neutral B, Needle Snore. Sheik makes needles appear like Wolverine claws and casts them forward with a very unusual throwing animation. Assuming I don't, stab myself with the needles, I don't think I'd be able to throw them. At least, not the way Sheik does. I'm going to put it in not quite. Sheik's side B is called Burst Grenade, and I had to slow this move down a lot in order to be able to tell what's going on. I know the footage is a little blurry, but what happens is Sheik pulls out a grenade on the string, tosses it while spinning, and pulls the string which detonates the bomb. I don't think any vacuum grenades exist in real life, and even if they did, it would be very challenging to pull the string perfectly to take out the pin. But assuming you are able to pull the pin with a string attached, the bigger problem becomes that you're pulling an explosive toward yourself without any kind of protection. All that being said, I'm going with actually just magic. Her up B is called Vanish, and the animation of this one is kinda unclear, but that doesn't really matter anyway. I mean, what do you expect me to do? Turn invisible? Teleport? It would make sense if Sheik was hiding behind something, but she can just do this out in the open. This is the second move in Sheik's kit that is just magic. Down B is Bouncing Fish, one of Sheik's most potent kill moves. On the ground, this would definitely be possible. Would I be able to do it? No. But it could be done. In the air, however, this is clearly not realistic because she's basically jumping off of nothing. Another move that is physically impossible, so it's going in actual magic. And last but not least, the final smash, Sheik Dance. A dash across the stage followed by a series of knife slashes at lightning speed. Every knife slash she does is completely reasonable, but she moves around the target incredibly fast, so fast that you can't even see her at times. Aside from the humanly impossible speed, I could do everything else Sheik does here. And that wraps up all of Sheik's moves in Smash Ultimate. I hope you enjoyed the video, and feel free to leave your thoughts on my decisions in the comments below. Also, make sure to comment which character you want to see me cover next. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.
Dude, the ledge trapping is so good from Sen. Oh my god.
Oh my.
Silencing the crowd.